to champion her presidential bid after she won the Democratic primary. And now, in response to a question about her potential 2020 winner, she told the Associated Press that she will do whatever she can to support that person because that wasn't my experience in 2016.
Here to weigh in on the former candidate's comments is Hillary and Bill Clinton's former advisor, Richard Goodstein. He's the president of Goodstein and Associates.
That's
Welcome.
Right. Good to see you,
Great to
Richard.
be here. Thanks for having me.
Richard, you're a mainstay on cable television, and we wanted to make sure that we had you here in order to give a view that maybe people don't often hear, which is that you are, I think, staunch, both in supporter of Hillary, but also in the view that Bernie would lose the would lose the national election. Let's talk about the Hillary one in particular. Do you agree with her that Bernie didn't do enough to get her elected?
I went to the Women's March the day after the Trump inaugural, and it was, of course, hundreds of thousands of people. And I wanted to scream at the top of my lungs, if you were among these people that badmouthed Hillary because you were a Bernie supporter, and maybe you held your nose and voted for Hillary, you probably maybe voted for Jill Stein or Gary Johnson, leave. You don't deserve to be here. And
So even if you held your nose and voted for her, that's not good enough.
That's not good enough.
The thought police have said that's not good enough. Oh my!
I wonder why they lose elections. I wonder why you guys couldn't beat Donald Trump, and you'll lose to him again if you run your corporate candidate. Anybody but Bernie or Tulsi is losing to Donald Trump.
Wow, we're like a minute in.
We're a minute in
already. This guy.
This is kind of amazing, right?
If you didn't vote for her with the clearest of conscience and a smile on your face, get out of here. We don't need you. What the hell?
I think that Bernie, he'll say he went on planes and he went here and there.
Oh, will he?
But I am convinced.
They'll bring up facts about him going to 37 campaign events for Hillary Clinton when Hillary only did like 8 for Barack Obama.
That's right. And he went to places she didn't even bother going.
She didn't even bother going.
Wow.
You know, some of those Midwest places she skipped out on, he actually went there for her.
And then he just pretends that didn't happen. Like, if you have to deny history and you have to deny facts to smear Bernie, well, that's what you have to do. Because you can't make a legit criticism of him. So that's why they have to invent things. Like, he didn't campaign hard enough for her. Do I need to show you the Rachel Maddow video again?
Oh, I love how he says, like, he might have gotten on a plane once or twice or tried 37 times.
Yeah.
Apparently, this guy understands getting on the plane the same way Bill Clinton understands getting on Jeffrey Epstein's plane.
Oh, bam. Ron. Oh.
This guy's frustrating.
Yeah, it gets worse. Watch.
To a certainty, I haven't seen it empirically, but nobody will convince me otherwise, that because Bernie badmouthed her the way he did during the course of the primaries, talked about things being rigged, which was delusional. He lost by millions of votes. There was nothing the DNC did, zero, that affected the outcome of that race. And yet he convinced his people that that had happened. And therefore, I think that it cost Hillary dearly. And really, Bernie's gotten off lightly because I think between.
Now, Donna Brazile, who was the chair of the DNC, said it was rigged. Elizabeth Warren said multiple times it was rigged. So is Donna Brazile and Elizabeth Warren, are they both lying Bernie bros? Because they're the ones who both said it was rigged.
This guy's gross. This guy tells the truth as often as he needs a haircut. This guy's gross.
Bam! A fucking ball joke. Nice.
Between Comey and the Russians and so forth, Bernie's pretty high on the list of reasons that Hillary didn't win.
Converse for you, Ryan.
Do you worry that the leave, you don't belong here approach contributed to why Hillary Clinton lost?
No.
Do I think that people who were protesting at the top of their lungs the election of Donald Trump, who did nothing to keep that from happening, really don't have standing, in my humble opinion, for complaining the way they did? I don't know. That's my answer to your question.
But I mean,
It's not
did
the
they
answer.
really do that? Because here's the thing. Why was it so close in the first place? Why wasn't it about her positions on trade, on immigration, on all of why was it so that Donald Trump, let's buy the argument that Comey could swing the election. Why was it so close? Why was it at a position? President Obama won these states by massive margins just 4 years earlier.
Yeah, so I think if you looked at every political scientist looking at the fundamentals, it's the
Guess who's got cufflinks on as he's telling us Guess who's wearing cufflinks? It's the Hillary Clinton defender. Got cufflinks on while he's wagging his finger at the people's candidate, at a socialist. So he's wagging his finger at a Democratic socialist, and he's doing it with a cufflink.
Poetic.
Change after 8 years that the public usually likes, and kind of look at the economics and basically the true fundamentals of that election in 2016. That was looking to shape up to be a close election. I understand everybody thought that Hillary was going to win going away because Trump was kind of crazy, but obviously I think, again, if you look at the fundamentals, that wasn't going to be a lopsided race no matter what.
Sure.
To me, I've always thought that there are some fair things that the Sanders supporters can point to that the DNC did. Partly just the structure of the way the election is. They come out of Iowa in a tie, basically a delegate tie. And the news media is reporting it as, well, now Hillary Clinton has 500 delegates and Bernie Sanders has 20. You're like, wait a minute, I thought they were tied in Iowa. And so anybody who might have been inclined to take a risk on Sanders at that point was like, well, this race is over. And then you can point to the debates being scheduled at the most obscure hours. I don't think there was the type of conspiracy that some people have hinted at, but I do think
Those people, Ryan, would be who would be Donna Brazile and Elizabeth Warren. They're the ones who said there was a conspiracy. Donna Brazile detailed it, what the conspiracy was. That Hillary Clinton was funding the DNC so she had control of the DNC during the primaries, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz would time and time again go on television and say the DNC is neutral when the DNC was actually being run by the Hillary Clinton campaign. Hillary Clinton would then go out and do fundraisers saying that the money they were raising was going to Democratic candidates down ballot. All that money got funneled to Hillary Clinton's campaign. That's just two massively crazy ways that the DNC rigged the election. I don't know why he doesn't say it, but I'll say it.
I think he's trying to choose his words carefully.
Yeah, I think he's being very careful, but I don't know why he doesn't say that. Those are all facts, what I just said. None of that stuff's hard to say. It's not controversial. Those are facts.
Well, he brought up some stuff, too.
Right.
I mean, he brought up how the delegate counts were being reported, and,
he's
mentioning, like, he's
doing a great job.
Thumbs on the scale. Like,
yeah, I just don't know why he leaped over that. Like, I don't think it was a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. These are facts. Right? Like,
Right.
So he's doing a great job. I don't know why he did that last part. But anyway, here we go.
That Hillary Clinton has had a very hard time kind of reflecting on the campaign in an intellectually serious way. Let's just take the Goldman Sachs speeches, for instance, right? So she knew that she was going to run for president in 2016. She also knew that she and Bill Clinton had more money in their bank account than they could ever spend for the rest of their lives, that Chelsea Clinton could ever spend. Chelsea ended up buying an apartment that is a block long. She could have a half-block apartment if she decides.
Did you know that?
When the invite comes in from Goldman.
I didn't know it was
Did
that
you know
long.
that Chelsea Clinton bought an apartment that's a block long?
I didn't know such a thing was made.
Well, I'm guessing she just bought the building.
She bought the building. Okay.
Well, yeah, that was the building that they took Hillary to when
she got sick.
when she was sick, because they couldn't possibly
Take
take
her
her
to
to
a
a
hospital.
hospital because Howard Dean said,
Right.
why would you take anybody to a New York hospital?
New York hospital.
Well, then that would mean, Howard Dean,
Yeah.
we need help with
Right.
our healthcare
Healthcare,
system.
Right? Yeah.
Goldman Sachs, we're going to give you $700,000 for these speeches. And she says, I'm announcing my presidential bid in a couple of months. Maybe for the good of the party, the good of the country, this is not the best play at this moment. I know there were advisors in her circle who were very frustrated by the decisions that she and Bill were making in the months leading up to that, in the paid gigs that they were able to take. Wasn't there one in Mozambique as well that was very controversial?
What do you make
Why?
of it? Yeah.
Why?
Right. So this litany was exactly what the Sanders people kind of groveled in. I mean, they just...
So he won't. He's not going to answer the question. So he's not going to. He's going to try to diminish the facts he just raised instead of answering the question. Why did she keep doing this? So let's see if he does. If my prediction comes through.
Loved talking about that kind of stuff with losing sight of the fact that if Donald Trump won, every economic benefit, environmental benefit, civil rights benefit, social benefit that they had been pushing for.
No. The onus falls on Hillary Clinton for doing this fucking speech and taking the money. Now you're upset at the people talking about her, what she did? The point is, why did she do it? And of course, he won't answer that.
This guy is what I would
sociopath.
Sociopath, but crazy maker.
A crazy-making, gaslighting, lying sociopath.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this guy is. And he's, I don't have to tell you that. He's showing it to you right now. I'm not.
With a straight face, everybody.
With a straight face.
And
Here
a
we
pen
go.
in his hand, so you know that he has authority.
Decades would be thrown out like that.
Okay,
They can't believe. If you look at all the things that Donald Trump has undone that were core aspects of a Democratic agenda, everybody who talked about how long Chelsea Clinton's apartment was really living in a dream world and not looking at the reality of what the choice was.
But I'm trying to understand what Clinton's thinking would have been then. So she's going to give the speech to Goldman Sachs, and then she's just going to hope that nobody will criticize her for that? This is Goldman Sachs.
I think Hillary Clinton hoped that people would actually look at the issues, not look at who was paying for her speeches. Incidentally, if she had actually gotten employment with somebody, Bernie Sanders people would have complained about that, because God only knows there would have been some investor or somebody on the board who did something abhorrent. No question, okay? So she gave speeches. God, that's horrible. So again, I think she was predicated her campaign on the fact that people would actually...
No, she didn't give speeches for free. If she gave speeches, that would be great. She gave speeches for money. $700,000, $500,000, $600,000. Why do you think they gave her that money for those speeches? Those are called legal bribes. They were bribing her. And so she gave speeches. How about this? So she took bribes. So she took massive bribes that even her own campaign were going crazy about, as WikiLeaks revealed. So you keep yelling about Bernie Sanders. It was the people inside her own campaign that were screaming about her doing this. This guy's a sociopath.
Well, and he's pretending to not understand these things.
Yes, he's
pretending to not make the connection that this is a legal bribe. We're not. This isn't just. It's such an amazing speech. It's worth $700,000. No, we know what this really is, and so do you. You're pretending not to.
Right. I love how Ryan Grimm didn't let him go on that. Like, he's like, yeah, but what was the thinking? He goes, yeah, but what was the thinking?
He's being so diplomatic about it. He's like, she's had a very hard time reflecting on anything ever in her life. I don't think she's ever done it. I'm worried she's not capable. It's actually
that's the way,
kind of a psychopath. I think your thoughts.
That's the way you got to be. Like, I couldn't hold it together.
Right, I couldn't either.
Like, he's holding it together perfectly. Okay, here we go.
Look at the issues and what outcomes she would have versus Donald Trump. And if people can't see that clear as day today, sorry.
But no, so let's look at it now in the context of the campaign. Actually, maybe we should spend more time on this. I mean, the Sanders people who've come on, they said, Richard, that she spent, I think, what was it, like 10 speeches, rallies for Barack Obama in 2008. Sanders did like 42. I mean, how do you square that? She didn't work as hard to get Barack Obama elected as he did in order to get her elected, and yet she's leveling all these charges against him in a Hulu documentary. It just seems fundamentally, like Ryan said, unserious and very bitter. I mean, do you think she has a right to be bitter?
For exactly the reason I said.
Yeah.
But that was nice. That was nice. Oh, that was good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't take back a word that I said.
Yeah.
I'm sure, again, they
Well, how do you square those stats? I mean, I do think that's a fair stat.
Well,
yeah.
I will go back and research the 10 speeches for Obama. I don't think there was any question that the Clinton machine...
So you're going to come out and you don't have the numbers at you know the reason why you don't have the numbers at the ready about how many speeches Hillary Clinton did for Barack Obama versus how many Bernie Sanders did for Hillary Clinton is because they don't favor your lying argument. Of course, if they favored you, you would have those numbers like that. But they don't favor your bullshit argument, and you're a sociopath liar. So you act like you don't. Like, I haven't researched this. What? You haven't researched this? I have. But you haven't. Fucking liar. These guys are such scumbag liars. They're just and he looks like a dick, like a literal physical dick he looks like.
Such as it was, ultimately basically rally behind Barack Obama, fundraising, political expertise and so forth, and did put their shoulder to the wheel in every way the Obama campaign asked. If they didn't want Hillary more than 10 speeches, that was on them, not on her. I don't think it was a question of her limiting her access to the public, okay?
Although the only reason that we're talking about this today is because Hillary Clinton lost and Barack Obama won. More supporters of Hillary Clinton in the 2008 primary voted for McCain against Obama than supporters of Sanders voted for Trump in 2016. But Hillary got a pass for that for two reasons. One, Obama won. So that's a shame that it happened, but Obama won, so who cares? Bygones be bygones. And then Obama named, because he won, Hillary Clinton to be Secretary of State. And so every response from the Clinton campaign to criticism from the Obama campaign is, well, Obama clearly didn't care about that because he named her Secretary of State.
Yeah. How is it her fault how McCain voters voted?
Well, why is
it
Sanders'
in
fault?
what respect? Well, because he badmouthed her in ways, just like that litany of yours about the length of Chelsea's apartment. Yeah. That, to me, frankly, is untied to the issues that matter in this country. And yet, the Sanders people love...
You bringing up the disgusting amount of wealth that Chelsea Clinton gets to enjoy right now in light of how many people are living on the streets and homeless and in dire straits and without health care, that's unacceptable.
Can you bring up the still image right now? Can you... Koki, can you? No, the guy. Yeah, see, that's what he looks like when the donor money is falling down on him. That's exactly what he looks like.
Oh, that's weird.
Right
I thought he just put on Alan Cummings' perfume.
Oh, coming in my mouth. Okay, here we go.
Loved talking about how the speeches and all this money and so forth. And again, I think it got his supporters who bought into free this and free that and overlooked the fact that he called for nationalizing telecom and banks and railroads over the years. That didn't matter to them because to them, socialism really didn't put them off.
But Richard,
Clinton's
she said she basically is the one who put out Jeremiah Wright against Obama. I mean, it was a nasty campaign.
She pushed the photo of Obama in African garb.
She made hints about him getting shot.
Her Clinton campaign did. I mean, look, this is all come out from her and her advisors.
That's actually, I think that's not true.
She said in a speech, the white working class needs to rally behind us. It was a very dirty campaign. You can.
Obama wasn't clean either. Let's be clear here.
Her top strategist said, we need to question his Americanness.
Let me tell you what I think happened in the primaries in 2008. Remember, she won
I don't have a rebuttal there. I got to switch this now.
Hold on. Whoa. Change gears. New subject.
Look at his cufflink.
Yep. I like how everything he brought up, he just brought up a bunch of things that Bernie Sanders got right. And Hillary. Like, he actually had the nerve to bring up telecom.
Right.
Oh, you mean that thing that Bernie Sanders was warning about back in the 80s?
Yeah.
The homogenization of the media? And then that warning came to fruition because of who? Bill Clinton. Way to go, buddy. Yeah. Way to go.
And
you're really making a great case here.
And assholes like this are welcome on television all over the place and op-ed pages and anywhere you want. Assholes like this. This guy's an asshole. This guy's a bigger asshole than I could ever be. And I could be an asshole.
Swath of voters from Pittsburgh down through West Virginia, right? Kentucky, Tennessee, which, with all due respect, happens to correspond with people who haven't quite accepted diversity in this country, okay?
Okay.
So Obama was black and she wasn't, and she won those voters. In 2016, Bernie did pretty well. Why? Sure. Because she was the black guy in a sense, right? Because those are people who were kind of intolerant.
Please pause it. Okay, let's sit with that.
Wow. The reason why Bernie beat her in those working class neighborhoods and counties is because they viewed Hillary Clinton as the black guy. With a straight face. Again, these people, there's nothing. Is there anything I could say? There's nothing that I could say that is as crazy as what this guy's saying.
That's so gross. What
There's
that
nothing.
guy just said. I mean, he just, hey, man, Pittsburgh's my hometown. And he just basically said, well, everyone there's a racist. And everyone's there.
Right. They only vote racist.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable, this guy. Is there any, so is this worse
than what Alex Jones is accused of doing? Is this worse or is this not? Is what Alex Jones does worse than what this guy does? I don't think so. I think what this guy does is way worse because everyone knows Alex Jones is an entertainer. This guy actually is for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, at least in his mind, he's
of her, even though Bernie was Jewish, not exactly, again, a crowd that the people kind of tended to kind of know, but I just think there was no coincidence
I
in
don't
my
even
mind.
understand. Was he trying to figure out what he just said?
No, nobody in the Midwest knows a Jewish person.
That's what he just said.
That's what he just said. That's what he just said. What the hell?
And they voted for him because they don't know any Jews. Is that what he was saying? If they knew Jews, they wouldn't vote for him. Is that what he's saying?
This
that's what it
so
sounded-
offensive. What this
Everything
guy's saying.
he's saying
like,
is
it's
offensive.
So grossly, as someone from the Midwest, like it is so grossly rude what this guy's saying.
That Bernie did very well in that same swath that that Hillary had done.
Maybe it had something to do with saying, "quote We're going to put a lot of coal miners out of work."
Well, she
doesn't
didn't
have a lot of.
She didn't say that until after. Until after.
Sure. I'm just saying, with that terms of sentiment. Final question for you, Richard. You believe that Sanders will go have a McGovern level loss in the net?
No, I said a Dukakis level loss.
A Dukakis level loss, still pretty bad. Why do you think that?
Because to me, the research done.
Will he have a Clinton level loss?
Oh, that would have been a better question.
Yeah.
By apolitical political scientists and others suggests that Democrats need to kind of broaden their coalition in a way that Republicans, frankly, don't need.
The
What?
Democrats need to broaden their coalition, which is why you guys just spent the last week shitting on Joe Rogan, the #1 talk show host in America, because you want to broaden your coalition. No, it's because you guys would rather have Trump than Bernie Sanders. That's why. You want to broaden your coalition if they're going to vote for a corporatist like Joe Biden or Elizabeth Warren or Pete Buttigieg or Amy Klobuchar, but you don't want to expand the base if they're going to vote for an actual Democratic Socialist, Bernie Sanders. That's what they mean. Okay, here we go.
Need to do to win the Electoral College and to broaden their coalition. Look, the Democrats flipped the House not because of Bernie Sanders backed people, but because of moderates, okay? And I think if Bernie Sanders is at the top of the ticket, you can tell Ben McAdams, and we have new Democratic members from Kansas and Oklahoma, goodbye. And I think that the majority for the Democrats in the House is at risk if Bernie Sanders is at the top of the ticket. Because I understand the theory. There's all these people on the left who haven't been excited, and they're going to come out of the woodwork. And Democrats have been having that argument since Jesse Jackson had it with the Democratic Leadership Council in the 80s.
Right.
And I just don't think the evidence shows that the Jesse Jackson...
And then they had it again in 2008.
Exactly.
And what happened that time? Oh, a bunch of people came out of the wood. They were excited about something.
Yeah.
Like in 2008. What happened then? Barack Obama won in a near landslide. Did it again in 2012. Oh, this guy.
Jackson or Bernie Sanders position ultimately is a winning one.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see, but the entire Hillary Clinton apparatus was convinced that Donald Trump would suffer
Right.
a wipeout of
Didn't
epic
exactly
proportions, too. So
Thank you, Richard.
My pleasure.
Yeah, we'll have you
and we'll
back.
get to talk.
It was our pleasure, Richard. It was our pleasure.
Let's see what he says.
We'll get to talk about this the rest of Hillary Clinton's
we
life.
will.
She's not done talking
that's
about this.
true.
That is absolutely true.
He stuck it right in his ass on that one. She's not going to stop talking about this for the rest of her life.
There's a docu-series on Hulu. She'll do one on Netflix. She'll do one on Amazon. She'll do one on
Roku.
YouTube Red. She'll
Yeah.
do one for Roku.
You know, wouldn't it be weird if Netflix wouldn't greenlight her next show?
Because the Obamas run
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, right.
The Obamas run Netflix?
That'd be.
Hey, come see a live Jimmy Dore show. We're going to be in Tempe, Arizona, Sacramento, San Jose, Miami. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all tickets to all of our live shows, and go to jimmydorecomedy.com/join to become a premium member. We give you hours of bonus material every week. Thanks for your support.